guys, on Open House, we have a special guest, DeAndre Carter. DeAndre is a motivational speaker, inspirational guru. I am truly pleased to have him here with us today. I'm going to be asking a series of questions. He's going to be answering them. So sit back, get your notebooks out. We're ready to go. DeAndre, for my audience who hasn't heard of you yet, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to this point.
Well, it's a long journey, but it's been a great journey. I started back in Detroit. That's where I'm born and raised, inner city Detroit. And my motivational journey started in my mother's basement. I was listening to a cassette tape of a guy named Les Brown.
Oh, good old Les.
Yes. And he had this, it was like a 6-part series, and I got a hands on one tape, and it was called If It's Hard, Then Do It Hard. And so in that tape, he was just talking about when your life is hard, then you got to come back at it harder. And at that time in my life, I was dealing with a lot of adversity, a lot of challenges, family trauma, environmental challenges. I was in the process of becoming the first person in my family to go to a major 4-year institution and graduate from that institution. So I had a lot of things going against me. My father was in prison. Just a lot of circumstantial factors that were working against me. And it gave me the spark I needed to really push myself to the next level. And within a year, I was giving my own speeches after hearing that tape.
Nice. Now, people always are saying, stay motivated, stay positive, but they often just say that and don't give any, I wouldn't say tricks, but any tips to do that. Or they want you to buy a $5,000 course, and everybody is a different type of learner, where some people, can learn from tapes, some people can learn from video, some people can learn from sitting inside of a class. What do you think works best when motivating people?
Well, first, the good news is my course is only $4,000. So you
I love it.
No, seriously though, what I believe is that a lot of people are in the industry and they're trying to give information that they necessarily haven't used themselves. What's different about people like myself, I've been through the fire tested. I understand what it takes to overcome adversity, what it takes to make achievements happen in the face of whatever circumstance that you have. So I tend to teach concepts. I tend to give you it's almost like a recipe, right? Where if you put the right ingredients in, you're going to get the right outcome. And if you want to spice it up, you switch out an ingredient too, but you have the mold, you have the formula. And even in my first book, Demand Greatness, Success is Yours, I give you a 3-part formula that you can apply to any area of your life. If we're talking about real estate, if we're talking about politics, if we're talking about athletics, whatever it is, if you put this formula in place and then customize it to you, you start to get results. So for me, I understand that there are different types of learners. There are kinesthetic learners,
yes.
There are auditory learners, there are visual learners. I try to mix it all together so that people feel like they're getting hit from all of the angles that will actually relate to their learning style, and that's what actually creates change.
Now, when you speak about different learners, as an ex-school teacher, yes, I'm a little older than everybody, guys. I know that teenagers and young adults in this day and age are getting hit with a lot visually, a lot digitally, with the internet being it the way that it is. What group or age group do you think is the easiest, I wouldn't say the easiest, is the most relatable to reach? And do you think when you reach that group, how long should they be working with you?
The thing about the way I work is imagine like a puddle of water or a body of water, and when you drop a big rock in the water, it hits in that one spot, but then there are these ripple effects, right? So what I'm always targeting is I'm targeting young professionals. Ages, let's say 21 to 35, but anytime I hit that group, I'm always having a ripple effect on the demographics around that group, because the way that I'm approaching things is applicable to more than one situation, but I'm always aiming at that one core. And so the question of how long should somebody work with me is very simple. How long do you want to continue getting results? Because what a lot of people do, they messed up because they focus on getting results, but there's not enough attention to focus on keeping those results. So it's like somebody said, I want to work out and get in shape, and then when you get in shape, okay, it's time to stop the workouts. There is never a time to stop the workouts. There's a time to upgrade the workouts. There's a time to make a remix of the workout and adjust it, but there's never a time to stop. See, growth never stops. None of us will ever be a finished product.
Right.
None of us will ever say, I've arrived. Here's perfection. I mean, you might feel like that sometimes. I know you feel like that sometimes.
There's nothing wrong with me, guys.
But we are all a work in progress. So you should continually be working with coaches like myself, because what we do is we continue to find the blind spots. And then what I've learned is that once you get to a place where you feel satisfied, if you're truly satisfied in life, you feel great, you never want to just have that feeling by yourself. Then you learn how to pour into others.
So I'm gonna build off of that. That was a great point. As you're pointing into others, I've been to a lot of workshops as a realtor, and they try to motivate us. I really find that people that connect with an audience seem to reach me better. As you're giving a speech, have you ever had an audience where you're like, oh, okay, this is what I planned on doing, I need to adjust right on the spot, and then how did that turn out for you?
It happens more frequently than you think. My approach when I'm in front of an audience is I look at it as a dance. And you can't dance with different partners the same way. You have to be ready to adapt and ready to adjust. So every time I have a presentation, I have an outline, but I have an alternate outline in my back pocket, so to speak. I have alternate examples. I can say the same point 4 or 5 different ways. So if I'm talking to a corporate audience and I'm talking about how to bounce back from adversity or how to take advantages, I'm giving corporate examples. I'm talking about sales. I'm talking about market shares. I'm talking about P&L statements. But if I'm giving that same message to a group of young people, now I'm talking about grades, now I'm talking about study habits, now I'm talking about time management. So it's just a matter of switching things up. But there's been times where I'm in front of an audience and I feel like, yo, this is just not working. They're here, but they're not really here with me. And so based on what I'm seeing, I'll start to draw different connections. And one of the things I like to do is I like to use humor. So I try to relate to the audience where they're at in that moment, in that day. Then once I reel them in, now I know we're on a new track. So every time I'm in front of an audience, my secret, my key is to be in the room with them.
Do you feel like you do better large audiences, medium, one-on-one groups, test groups? What do you like better?
As a true practitioner of what I do, I've learned how to do it all. So when I first got started, I wanted large groups because when you're young, you want the big stage.
Right, the numbers.
I want the mic, everybody paying attention to me. And I found that could be awesome. There's nothing like saying something in front of a room and the largest audience I've been in front of was 14,000. I shared a stage with Tony Robbins one time when he was in Detroit.
That's Tony.
And we put on a show. But what I found is that in smaller groups, you do different activities. And then one-on-one, you do different activities. I spent 15 years working at Michigan State University as an academic advisor, and it allowed me to really connect with people on a one-on-one basis, which transferred over to my coaching program. So when I began to work with people one-on-one, it's a different flow. I think about it like this. It's like when you drive a car. A car has multiple gears. So you can't drive the same way you do in a parking lot as you do on the street,
right,
as you do on a highway. So you have to really be able, if you want to be able to navigate the whole availability of what's available to you in your industry, you really need to navigate all the levels. So when I'm doing one-on-one, it's different. But when I'm in large groups like that, I understand that room is about energy. It's about keeping the energy high, but giving people individual connection points. So something that they can do that connects to them that might be different than the person sitting right next to them. So I like to ask questions, and I like to get you thinking. And I also like to say, hey, write this down. What's your one reason you have to take action? And it might be different than the next person's reason. But that's what it's all about, because my belief is that when you're helping somebody, like right now we're filming, and if somebody called and said, hey, I want to come down and sit in the studio audience, I need directions, right? The first thing you're going to say is, where are you? I can give you directions. I know the way, but I don't know which
where you are, right,
apply to you. So I need to know, are you coming from the north, the south, the east, or the west? And once I locate your point, then I can draw you to where I'm at.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so that's the approach I take. I need to locate, where are you in this journey? Then once I know that, I know your step 1. See, your step 1 might be somebody else's step 5. So you got to always understand that.
But have you ever had one case where you're like, oh, okay, I need to refer you out because this isn't that?
Yeah, absolutely. See, because what I understand is that we all play a role in the cycle. I love to look at things like it's a puzzle, and we're trying to put this big picture together, and life is not like a poster. A poster, you rip the plastic off, you roll that thing out, you stick it on the wall, it's done. And it looks pretty, it's good. But a puzzle, I don't know about you, I've never had a puzzle come already assembled.
No.
And the pieces, when you pull them out, they're not in chronological order. It's not like you just put them down and then it's all done. You got to figure it out. So I understand in somebody's life journey, somebody's success journey, I am a puzzle piece. I might be as huge as the Louisiana Purchase and be a large puzzle piece, or I might be small like the first 13 colonies, using the U.S. as an example. But I know I'm a piece in that puzzle. So what I recognize, and I never take it as personal, that, hey, I might be a finishing piece, I might be a connecting piece in the middle, or I might be a starting piece. But what I know is I'm a piece, and I'm going to help you get to where you need to go. But sometimes I do have to identify. I remember one person, I was working with them, and I was like, okay, first what we need to do, based on the situation you have, is you need to go talk to someone over here. Because I realized that one man might water, another man might, plant the seed, but the increase comes from above. So what happens is once you realize that you're either planting or you're watering, then you focus in that lane. But then you realize, like, all right, so I was talking to one person and they were focused on this when I was back at Michigan State. I was helping them academically, but when it came to the career piece, I can help you, but I referred that person out to somebody very specific in particular to work on that area because it was about agriculture. And that's not my
right. This isn't my lane.
I grew up around a lot of cement in the city of Detroit, right? So I didn't know about the agriculture piece, but I knew how to connect them. And what I had to do, my role was to convince them that they needed to talk to this person they did not know to get to this place that they wanted to go. And when it comes to this type of work, it's not about you, it's about your client. And so what I recognize is that I want to be a magnet for those who are ready to draw them to me, and then allow them to choose the moment when they're ready. Everybody's light bulb goes off at different times.
Yeah.
Some people got them flickering like boom, right? Some people come right on. Some people got the delay. You flip it on, like be back in an hour, and then the light will warm up, right?
Right.
So, but I can't determine who's who. So what I'm doing is I'm becoming available with my products, with my coaching, with my books, with my services, and allowing them to access it at their point.
So, I love social. I consider myself a social guru.
Guru in the house, right here.
I focus on what I'm good at. It is truly social. Do you think that with your social, is it like different from your book, or are you reaching a whole new audience, or how are you prioritizing like, okay, this week I'm gonna do social, next week I'm gonna do my workbook, next week I'm gonna do this show?
Yeah, so for me, it's definitely a balance. And what I've learned is that I had to learn to embrace social because, I'm from a generation where there was no internet.
Yes, we had to go to the library.
With the cards, with the little codes that you got to look up.
The Dewey Decimal System.
You have to know the Dewey Decimal System. But what happened is when social first came out, it was like take it or leave it. From a business perspective, they say you might want to use it, you might not. It's up to you. It's at the point now where it's mandatory. It is a built-in component. So what I've learned to do is embrace social. And so, for instance, my next book will be an ebook, right?
Plug.
Right. So I'm co-authoring a book with somebody and a business partner of mine who has a program called the Imagine Mentoring Program. And my company is Demand Greatness. So we looked at each other and said, hey, why don't we tell the world, imagine your life when you demand greatness. And so that's what the name of the book is. Imagine your life when you demand greatness. Now, because of the trying times that are going on, the subtitle is During a Crisis. So we want to show you can imagine greatness even during a crisis, right? And so that has our marketing push is going to be completely digital and completely social to get started because that's where the attention is, right? And so the attention is on right now. It's on TikTok. So looking to get.
I beg to differ. That's a whole nother show. I beg to differ. I think my audience is on LinkedIn, but it's okay. It's okay.
Of course, there's LinkedIn. Definitely LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. You name it. Here's the key: the audience is everywhere. It's just a matter of where you're going to put your focus on. And so what we're looking to do is get the word out on social, get the word out, even email systems, get everything set up. I've learned to embrace social to the point where right now I'm doing 2 videos a day. So my first book was hard copy, and the second book will be hard copy too, the ebook. But we're going to start ebook first because we can reach. I just I got a voice message from somebody on from London on Instagram. That's part of the market. It's easier to get an ebook to London than it is a physical book. So we're just embracing what social has to offer.
I love it. Now, tell everybody, I'm not going to keep them too long, guys. I know you're like, damn, you like to yap. How can we find you? Give us your whole rundown of social. Give us the name of your book, the new book that's coming out. You can do that as well. If you can't, I understand. I'm trying to squeeze every bit of juice I can, guys. So give us your whole social rundown, where we can find you at.
All right, so we have our landing page for the new book. It's called Imagine Greatness Now. That's coming on May 1st. You'll be able to pre-order your book. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be your guide through a crisis. And through a crisis, you might be in one crisis now, but you might be in another crisis tomorrow, but the same ingredients will work. As far as finding me specifically, my name is DeAndre Carter. So DeAndreCarter.com. Click the link. You can see all the information about me on social. You can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn under my name, which is DeAndre Carter. For spelling, it's Andre, like Andre the Giant, with the D-E in front of it, right? And then on our Instagram is DeAndre Carter _. So you want to check all those channels out. Make sure that you tune in because there's constant motivation coming all the time. And don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you do the email thing, you can reach me at demandgreatness@gmail.com.
DeAndre, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to join us in the open house. I told you guys this was going to be a great episode. So, as always, here's hoping that your open house will go soon. Bye, everybody.